I should also point out, this is probably one of my favorite songs coming up. Like, when I heard this first time, I couldn't believe this is what they did for it. Just gotta roll up with my man first. He's like, whoa, I'm not sliding anymore. What's going on, dude? And then there's just this guy. Whoa! And like, this animation is great too, because they're just like, man, he just keeps going in circles. When's he gonna stop? But yeah, this song is so metal. You know, at least kind of metal. This was the song when I first heard. I was going to work, and I was just like, guys, I've been playing this cool new video game, and you gotta hear this song. And they're just like listening to it, and it's just like, I'm just playing guess the game. Guess what this is from. They're just like, I don't know, Corshel. What is it? It's like, this is Donkey Kong. Wow, my jump timing is off. I'm pretty floaty. There we go. But it's just like, wait, why is this a Donkey Kong song? And it's just like, I don't know why it's just like metal tunes in Donkey Kong. I could not just jump in that fish right. But it was great though. I couldn't believe they're just like, here's the first song in the game, and it goes super hard. I would not like to get poked by the urchin, please. This whole game soundtrack, or the series in general, is a pretty widely documented case of good music. And this song is probably still my favorite boss song in this entire game, because it does it so well. Especially considering the context is you're fighting a walrus in what is essentially his setup circus tent. And it's like, alright, it's not goofy clown music or anything. And the fact that he's just like the main star in this show, he is actually like really into heavy metal, and it's so ridiculous. This is all just me saying that I am a person who greatly appreciates absurdity camp. Like, I like it when things go so off the rail they turn good, which is why the Donkey Kong Country cartoon is a golden example of so bad it's good. I'm a good quality B-movie watcher. Like, give me good schlock that doesn't make sense, that explicitly goes over the top for like no good reason, and I just love it. I eat that up. That is my favorite thing. There's so many things I like because they just go nutty. And I just remember this guy slowly turns more red as he angry. But yeah, things that just go off the rails and blow me away. Right when I think common sense is still going to be applied, they amaze me by just going farther. Oh, I should have got him for the extra hit. So, this was kind of one of those cases where you're just like, it's just a silly boy as I'm getting slapped. Just a silly boy in a circus, and we're just shredded. And it doesn't really shred this hard ever again either, which is, ow. Oh, good, good. That was the last hit, because I was really letting myself go in my conversation. But, yeah. Give me the silliness. Let me beat up this guy. Look at his doofy face. And I'll always snap it up. I'm going to give a shout out. I am a very close watcher of Red Letter Media. Those guys are great, and they've introduced me to so much silliness. I love it. It's so good. I've had so many laughs from terrible movies that are done in earnest or otherwise. And the same thing goes for video games. Like the now renamed Like a Dragon series. Yakuza, perfect. The best soap opera I've ever done. I realized I needed to play those games after one camp leads into the other. All right, I'll start a little earlier back. And what really got me convinced that I should play the series after like renting Yakuza 0 for a little bit and getting to chapter 1 and not being like entirely sold was along the edges of camp that I really enjoy is Fist of the North Star. It's a bunch of massively torsoed guys with like sometimes buff arms, sometimes moderately fit arms, and usually kind of skinny legs on everybody. That doesn't match the rest of their proportions if you're anyone in the protagonist camp. And it's just like huge muscled guys with tiny heads do a lot of really funny yelling and poking with their arms that make people explode. Like, the concept makes no sense, but the story is actually pretty dramatic and good beyond the fact that, like, it's a little hard to take seriously when, like, given the context and a modern storytelling lens and the designs they do, but I love it. Don't let me lead you astray again. I absolutely love every part of that. So, you know, the RGG studio is just like, hey, we're doing a spin-off that is basically our entire series structure, but it's starring Kenshiro. It is Fist of the North Star under the Like a Dragon Yakuza framework. So I was like, man, yeah, all right, it's got a dub, and it's Fist of the North Star, which I already like. So I am all for it. I played the Warrior spin-off, the Ken's Raids one, which was actually a bit of like, I know this game's a button mashers, but that one felt even more like a slog, and it's just like not enough enemies to really make it interesting, I guess. That game is just kind of like, it's there. Ken's Raids and Ken's Raids 2 is there. But you play Lost Paradise, and you're like, wow, all right. The voice acting is good. The bro character who like totally hates you, but then ends up having complete bro respect, and you're like the closest of homies by the end. So great performances. I shouldn't quote everything he says because it's a little profanity laced, but he's great. And the more I played it and like figured out a little bit of the things, I got to the end of that game and like the finale music was incredible. I really liked the stupendous nature of the final bits of that game's plot are just insane. Like, I'm not going to spoil it because y'all should play it. I got to the end of that. I was like, hot dog, I'm on board. I'm officially sold on this entire franchise. I have seen the light, and it just took 1,000 little finger pokes to the chest to explode my mind to tell me this was worth doing. So I immediately embarked on like a year and a half of playing all the Yakuza games from 0 on up with a little bit of sequence breaking to play 6 because it was new and different. And man, what a great time. There was so many times it became a little game. You're just like, okay, I totally can predict what happens, right? Like I see some foreshadowing. The soap opera is really kicking in right now. And then it gets to it, and it's like, no, Corshel, you're a fool. What if it actually turned out to be this? And my jaw regularly dropped at some of this. I was like, are you kidding me? Is this actually what is happening? I was so loving it. Like, Ishin, that's coming out real soon. You bet that's day one. You bet your pants. I am so looking forward to that in just a little bit. I cannot believe it's going to be so good. I'm going to smack everybody around, and it's going to be the greatest thing. I, like, eat that stuff for breakfast. I am diehard for it now. I usually don't get this animated talking about it with my friends, so the internet has emboldened me behind my mask. But really, man, the memes are all right. Everything they do is true. And really, like, just go out and play them. It has so much heart. This is just like the same bonus room from before. The two I found are the exact same. Even Funky Kongs won't laugh at it. Oh, that's good times chatting about that. I've bought every single one of the Like a Dragon games now. Like, I own everyone that's come out in English over here. I own 0 through 6 and 7. I'm just going to call Like a Dragon 7, I guess. And I own both Judgment games, which are also very good. And the DLC, the Kaido Files and Lost Judgment, perfection. Literally cried twice. It was good. It was really good. And I haven't played it yet, but I even hunted down Dead Souls, which at the time, I guess was like maybe credited for helping make Sega not bother with the games because they localized it going like, yeah, Americans sure love the Zombos. And then, like, it did bad, and people are like, man, this control's not like we expect. And, like, we don't understand anything that's going on because this is a really niche series. So then Sega's like, all right, maybe Americans don't care. I should have noticed the platforms were breaking, and that I couldn't just read all those bananas. But yeah, I hunted that down, and that's the last one I have to play. I've conquered every other one. I've just, like, sat on Dead Souls for a rainy day when the time feels right. And I bet it's going to be good. It's probably not going to be very coherent because it's a weird zombie spinoff that has a bunch of different characters from across the franchise up to that point. But I think it's going to be good. I don't expect a tearjerker story besides just like weird zombie shenanigans and to see a bunch of like people come back. But I think it's going to be good. And then knowing there's Ishin and then Gaiden also sometime later this year. 2 of those games in 1 year? Are you kidding me? When they announced that, I was just at a buffet. I was the happiest thing of that PlayStation showcase. That was like the highlight. That is all I needed to see. Oh, the letters are gone. I was too slow. I just didn't want to bop a thing like that. I can't wait to be able to do that more and just punch people around. And also whenever there's 8, so then we actually get to continue Ichiban stuff with the RPG, which I think can actually turn into a good system when they get to refine it a little. It's like, okay. It's okay in 7, Like a Dragon. It could use some refinement. There were definitely some quirks, and they have to get a better sense of level scaling at some points. Any of you have played, you know what I'm talking about. There's a serious wall. 2, actually. I would say 2 major level walls in that game. So, like, if they fix that, make the curve a little better in the upcoming 8, I am all for it. Like, I was hooked on the story. I'm ready for more. I can't say a thing. I'm not going to say a thing. It's actually what it is to say. Because it should be witnessed. Because these games are great. But once I get that, hopefully next year, it's going to be good. All this Donkey Kong into Yakuza, and we're completely forgetting my poor man, Funky Kong. They don't have anyone with this class in Yakuza because he's of a different breed. Can I just go and swing that? Can I throw you? I'm gonna roll into you. No? Oh, my guy. Alright, I'm gonna bonk you and go one more time around. I guess, I forget where Rambi comes into play here. Rambi is a pal. I actually like all the animal buddies. Like, we can think of... Oh, man. I say that and I don't even remember their names. Oh, no. The spider. I really liked him out of 2. 1, he's a spider wearing a bunch of shoes, and that's hilarious. Secondly, you could cheese every portion. Like, it didn't take long for Little Me to figure out that if you use the platform webs, even though it was slow, you could go ahead and... Oh, I just jumped over this. Okay. Yep, I just straight up missed Rambi before. That's why. But yeah, you can make platforms as the spider and just go ahead and just like ignore entire points of levels. And when you're a kid... Oh, okay, good. You're a kid and you're like least path of resistance. If I can just stay off screen up the top and just do everything I need to ignore the entire conversation the level designers were trying to have with me here, I'm doing it. Subtlety is for the weak. I'm not going to figure out the challenge they're trying to give me. I'm just going to be, You can tell me I can skip things? Why do you think I used the skip all levels code as a kid just to get the bosses? Levels for chumps. I appreciate them more now, but little me, I had things to do. And I was not going to die to this thing over and over. I had places to be. So, Spider, I'm using you to go above this haunted forest every time. And I'm going to get there. And then, you know, in guard, Rambi obviously right here's a pal. Please come to me. Whoop. I also like how those two actually are the ones who survived the Donkey Kong 64. That's the one this conversation's pivoting to next. I don't think you could probably like call it a true thing in the vein of this. I know obviously it's from Rare, but that is entirely a different beast than the country games. And I think trying to call them similarly is kind of doing it a disservice because there's just so much of that game. But you have Rambi come around and guard, and they're just like, sure, we're entire levels here, but we're in like really gated off small areas in 64. And they're both just in like a single area each. It's like the token obligation of, you know, we tried to put animal buddies in here, but we can't figure it out. Nope. Put them back in the crates, and put those crates behind gates. Make it so only single Kongs can take them, and only do it once. We're never trying that again. So Rambi gets the chance to shine here. I'm waiting for our other friends to make a return. We need Ingard returns the game. Give me my one thing. I'm going to at least do that. Oh, and saying that, how long it's been since there's been another new title that I'm here funkying it out today. I just want a new game. I don't think that's a unreasonable ask. Oh, please boost me back up. This spear is very intimidating. I know there's been rumors of a Nintendo Direct, but Donkey Kong is not on my short list of things to expect from it. This, we've really been on the tropical freeze for the series for a while, and it's tragic. Because I know I'm babbling a lot as I play through this, but all these level gimmicks just melt my heart. It thaws out the freeze. This was a bad idea. Okay, we made it. Because, like, the leaves, like, the fact there's always a unique gimmick. What a great game. Most of it's going by in that gamer adrenaline right now for me. But at the same time, I'm still recognizing all the great. Let me out of this. Yeah, I wanna check this out. Get my man his nanners. I couldn't believe I was at 30 lives, actually, when I died before. And it's just like, oh, hey, I guess there really is a bunch of lives I've picked up from all this random crap I found across the ground. Give me my puzzle piece. Nice. All right, that was a weird frame. I want to be able to enjoy more adventures with these guys. Instead, Funky Kong's mainly known for his bumper sticker riding off the case of this game of included Funky Kong mode, which, fair, that's pretty good advertisement, and for his dominance of Mario Kart Wii, where he was always the go-to competitive choice for that and the Flame Rider. I remember that. Alright, I was jumping too high. Please, let me get my money. I don't need this money. I'm never going to use it, but I want it. But I remember the Funky Kong days, even before I like figured out that Funky Kong Flame Rider was the pro strat in Mario Kart Wii. I just liked Funky Kong. You're like, man, I had to unlock Funky Kong, and look at him, he's having such a good time. I absolutely vibe with this guy. I relate. He's just here to have fun. He's here to flex some cool moves in Koopa Cape. Go off this like water half pipe and show he's a real slick guy. And then like, yeah, you just figure out he pretty good. There'd people who'd be able to play with me and like I'd see them using the Flame Rider and you're just like, man, they're always beating me. There's got to be something to either this monkey or this bike. And then it turns out it's both. They're actually just both the best options. Come on. Oh wait, I can just get up there myself because of my super cool hover jump. But Funky Kong really held his own. And I want to see him pop up in other Mario things again. It feels like it's been a bit. Whew. Oh, this section's great. I remember this now. Yeah, whoa, if I don't just get myself killed trying to dodge stuff. The fact that it's always going up with the music. This is documented. but still a wonderful theme. And after you see all these horns through the whole stage, you line up in the giant horn and you get to cruise up. It's so good. Give me this. And the fact that they blow the level barrel exit upwards with the notes until the music stops and it comes down. Perfect. It's such good theming. I don't know if, like, I would ever say this is a good replacement for the Kremlings. The fact they made 2 Donkey Kong Country reboot games where they did Returns and they did Freeze, and neither one they like felt like they should return to the Kremlings is a crime in its own way. Like, funny Walrus in the circus tent is okay, but you gotta hand it to K. Rool. Like, all the little Kremlings and their funny little and other noises are great. The deep tone on those things in the SNES game, especially the clap traps. I loved it as a kid. You're just going through these little goober guys who are just doing it all brop, 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 brop with their noises. And you're like, oh, I don't want to land on teeth. Teeth bad. So you go to jump on them, and then it's just, and it's like, oh my gosh. They're so deep. And then you just hit the little Kremlings, they're like, It's good. It's really good. Those sounds, everyone knows they're classics. What's not to love about the noises? So then you get these guys, and it's just like, well, here's an owl. That's owls there. It's like, that's not a funny Kremling. They cameoed in Strikers Charged. We knew there was a little love for the Crocs. And then that's gone. Well, okay, they were also in Sluggers. Like, the Wii era was Nintendo's era of going, we have this backlog of all these goofy, like, enemies and side characters from our GameCube days and stuff like that we have at our disposal. So we're going to use them as we just explore. I was going to be trying cheeky to jump, and turn out you just die. That was deserved. That was entirely on me. Please let me on my thing. There we go. But yeah, like, spin-off Nintendo days in the GameCube was just like, we're just going to dip into all the franchise stuff. And here's Kremlings in Mario Baseball, because we brought K. Rool for this sequel. And also, he's in Egyptian-style garb for reasons. Namco really looked at that and went, you know, we like K. Rool and all, but what if he looked a little closer to a pharaoh? And you're just like, why? What? He's never going to do this again. They got inspired. Well, okay. All right. I just said he's never going to do that again. And then we got to remember Donkey Kong Country 2, 3, and also the end of 64, where he puts on a silly little outfit where he's just like, yeah, I'm a little different. I feel like having a different wardrobe every time. So I'm correcting myself. I immediately take back what I was making fun of K. Rool for. If the dude wants the cosplay all day, he did. That's worth the death there. I appreciate that joke. I should have thought of that, But yeah, K. Rool is great. The fact he's willing to do all these doofy outfits and just be the cosplayer we are too weak to do. And he's always rocking it with that physique. He's proud of his body shape, and he knows how to make anything work. He is the perfect little diva. He was the perfect diva in the games. I jumped a little too early. Perfect diva in the game and a better diva in the cartoon, with many great songs. We just need him back. The Smash Brothers knew it. They understood the demand. They're like, we gotta have him back. He's gotta have funny crocodile with big golden gut. He's gonna go hit people with his belly and throw his crown. Just have him look at the screen and to show that big old eyeball of his. And it's like, yes, 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 give me that. That is perfect. That is entirely what I want, as I keep jumping slightly too soon. I'm afraid I'm going to slip. We'll get there. So they gave us K. Rool back in Smash, and I really hope the next Donkey Kong project just like brings them back. One, okay, not a spinoff. All right, first and foremost, when I say next Donkey Kong project game, proper game, give me another one of this. And then secondly, K. Rool is back in some form. I don't care if you're too afraid to make him the antagonist, even though he hasn't been now for a couple games, and I think it's fine to let him. It's totally okay, I swear. But if you're going to do that route, do the Bowser. Be like, okay, we're not going to have the old baddie as the current baddie. But you know what he is? He's now an ally. Imagine it. You and Donkey Kong teaming up, K. Rool. You can do funny co-op things. You thought Diddy doing stuff with him was cute? What if it's just two very large lads being out there, just like, someone's kicked DK off their island, and also they've kicked K. Rool off his island. And K. Rool is just so upset about this now. So obviously, they team up. He's like, I can't just have this happen. This is an affront to my kingliness. I gotta be able to show him who's boss. So Donkey Kong, okay, look, I've stolen your bands a couple times, and I had a death laser. That's all water under the island bridge. I gotta smack the crap out of this new upstart and prove I'm the biggest bad. That's literally Bowser in like almost every RPG. And that's fine. We love it. That's an endearing character trait. So please give me that here. It'd be so good. We love the villains. Nintendo villains are lovable oafs. If you have to ask me who I'm playing Smash Brothers, a lot of them are bad guys. I thought I was going to grab that. But he's like, Ganondorf, best guy. He's just a little misunderstood. He packed a big funny punch, and he's got a stinky foot in Smash Brothers. That's how you win my heart, is with stinky feet. No, you don't. Never mind. We're not going to that subject. But you have Papa Ganondorf. You then have King Dedede with his slappy little belly. He throws at little guys. He's got his hammer. You got fellow... I'm sorry. I really should not have gone down that way. I'm just moving on. So you have big belly lads, Dedede and K. Rool. And it's just like, and Bowser, they're all fun. The heavyweights in Smash Brothers are fun. Maybe they're not the best to put up with all the agile comp fighters. They're going to get punked by a teenager in a mask all day. Most of the time, at least at my skill level. But they're so much fun. You love the weight. It's just like that big punch is classic in Smash Brothers. When you're just goofing around, you're just like, yeah, I'm playing with a couple of pals. It's 3 to 4 players. There's kind of like the gentle person's agreement of, oh, saved it. I slipped on my button, but I pulled it back. Thanks, Funky Kong. But like the agreement of, oh, we noticed somebody slightly higher on lives than the others. So we're going to make sure everyone stays relatively the same. There's always like a player who's like, I'm going to go after this guy because he's 1 to 2 stocks above everyone else and no one else has noticed it. So you do that and you're like, I'm going to be the big fella who does punch hard. That's one way to even the score in multiplayer. You just bring the smack. And if we can do that in video games, that's good too. Zelda has yet to properly learn this. They've learned it in the first Hyrule Warriors, which is a great game. They're just like, we know you want to be the bad guy, and he's got an awesome hairdo. And it's like, yes, let me be big man with sword. I'm going to make him buff. So just, that was a big ramble. Give me that with K. Rool, please. That's the summary of my K talk here. It's just give me K. Rool. Give me more Donkey Kong. Maybe Retro Studios will get the message whenever Prime 4 finishes its development cycle. And they'll just give me K. Rool Kong Returns. And I'll be able to platform as a big lunky lad doing what he needs to show who's the proper baddie. Oh man, that just got me thinking too about, I excluded Ridley. Ridley is pretty cool. We like Ridley in our own way, but he is also just like, if we have any sort of like lightheartedness in most of our Nintendo series. We then look at Metroid, and Metroid is like we're a bit more grounded in reality sort of way. Because they're just like, wow, DDD, he just wants some food. He's a big guy. Can you really blame him? And then you're like, Bowser, sure. He spits flames, and he kidnaps people now and again, but he's a great go-kart pal. And then, like, even K. Rool's learned to step up to the bat with a weird scepter. So, like, most of these guys learn their ways. And then Ridley's just like, ho, I killed your parents. And he's like, oh, that really sucks the air out of the room, buddy. And he's like, you know what? I'd do it again. I'd kill all your parents. And you're like, oh no, keep them away. I don't want this lizard man around me anymore. At least I could maybe trust Ganondorf, because he's not going to tell it to my face. He's more just scheming it until he clinches ultimate power. And then he's just like, I'm not just going to say I'm killing your parents. I actually just kind of murdered everybody. And you're like, you know what? Fair, Ganondorf. Now I don't feel like I specifically was persecuted about that. I gotta ring the thing. All right. They give you the setup time. There we go. Okay, I paid attention now. But yeah, Ridley is just like, I take enjoyment out of making people specifically miserable, especially Samus. She is a nerd. And everyone else, it's just kind of like generically evil or just like adorably evil. And then Ridley's just like, yeah, I'm just kind of a bad guy all around. I make sure nobody has fun, which is why he's cool in Smash. We like that. His little tail stab, that trailer though. And we're just like, we're pretty sure everybody in this died now. Okay, good. I remember to hit that. I was really afraid. But yeah, everyone dies in the Ridley trailer. And it's just like, wow. That was really dark. Oh, I thought, right. Not a button to drop. I had to let go of my shoulder button. But yeah, I wouldn't want to play as Ridley. His whole trait is I'm actually just an awful galactic space pirate. And any story involving him, he's too serious to be like, wow, there's this more evil thing, and I'm going to team up with you, Samus, to do it. No, he just gets out and does it. That's his problem. He's way too efficient at everything he does. He messed up so many things so easily with just like a flick of his fireball wrist. And where's the fun in the guy who's constantly successful until his corpse winds up in a pit? And then he just comes back as a spookier, like cyber one, or just like a pile of mush that kind of forms into it because his DNA wound up with a parasite, you know. He's there. No notes on Ridley. He's just a guy. Just a guy in space like me. He's hunting me down now. The problem is he can find me easier than he can find anyone else. I really just should abandon the hover jump. And honestly, I'm realizing, I wonder if these Edger balloons are just funky mode stuff. They've got to be, right? They're just like, I understand you might die, especially if you're just chit-chatting the whole time. Like a silly little guy. So here's this life to keep you going. Just dig in. That's kind of them. I'm recognizing the Funky Kong mode benefits. Perfect chatting. Oh, Ridley. I'm just going to think about you through my my window now, looking out for you to crash through, just like you do when you crash into everything else. Let me through, please. I'm going to ding the bell. I broke it. I broke everything. I also like that classic, like, oh, everything's fallen. Whoop. Can I? Oh, there we go. More good theming. I love the end set pieces on this stage. Especially when you just skip stuff because you're Funky Kong. No, please. Let me out of here. I'm going to mash the button. Okay. Banana coins are appreciated.